129 men, 2 state-of-the-art ships, and a mystery that has haunted history for 175 years. They sailed into the unforgiving Arctic in 1845, brimming with Victorian confidence, mapping the last uncharted stretches of the Northwest Passage. Sir John Franklin, a seasoned explorer, led the HMS Erebus and Terror, vessels equipped with the latest technology, steam engines, iron-reinforced bows, and enough provisions for 3 years. They were supposed to return heroes. But they didn't. Not a single man returned. The 2 ships, the pinnacle of naval engineering, simply vanished. It became one of history's most enduring and tragic disappearances, a chilling narrative of ambition meeting the raw, indifferent power of the polar north. For decades, search parties scoured the frozen labyrinth, spurred on by Lady Jane Franklin, Sir John's determined wife. She bankrolled expeditions, appealed to the Admiralty, and refused to let her husband's fate, and that of his men, be forgotten. Her relentless pursuit kept the mystery alive. The initial searches found tantalizing, yet frustratingly sparse, clues: 3 graves on Beechey Island, dated 1846, a cairn with a note detailing a temporary wintering, and then silence. A vast, icy silence that swallowed ships and men whole. It was only much later, in the mid-19th century, that more disturbing evidence emerged. A chilling note discovered by Francis McClintock in 1859, describing the dire situation: the ships trapped in ice, Franklin dead, and the remaining men attempting an overland trek south. This note, scribbled on a pre-printed Admiralty form, painted a grim picture. All well in 1847, then a desperate addendum in 1848, stating the ships were abandoned. Franklin deceased on June 11, 1847, and the 105 survivors setting out on foot. Imagine that scene: over 100 men, many already weakened, facing hundreds of miles of frozen wilderness, dragging lifeboats and supplies. Their destination: some distant Hudson's Bay Company outpost, an impossible journey in those conditions. Later expeditions found more human remains scattered across King William Island, telling a story of starvation, exposure, and even cannibalism. Forensic analysis decades later confirmed lead poisoning in some of the bone samples, potentially from poorly soldered food tins. Lead poisoning could have severely impaired their judgment, causing confusion and lethargy, compounding the already brutal conditions. It's a tragic irony that the very provisions meant to sustain them may have contributed to their demise. For over a century and a half, the exact location of the Erebus and Terror remained one of the Arctic's greatest secrets. The vastness of the search area, the shifting ice, and the depths of the frigid waters made finding them seem almost impossible. Then, in 2014, after years of dedicated searching by Parks Canada, a breakthrough. The wreck of HMS Erebus was discovered, remarkably well preserved, sitting on the seabed in the eastern part of Queen Maud Gulf, near King William Island. The discovery sent shockwaves through the historical and archaeological communities. 2 years later, in 2016, the HMS Terror was found, even further north, nestled in a protected bay off King William Island, almost perfectly intact. The wrecks themselves are time capsules, revealing incredible details about life aboard a 19th-century polar expedition. Personal belongings, scientific instruments, even food items have been found, offering direct insights into the final days of the crew. One of the most poignant finds was a captain's cabin, almost perfectly preserved on the Terror. Imagine the final moments, the captain perhaps still hoping, still planning, even as the ice tightened its grip outside. The discovery of the ships didn't immediately solve every riddle, but it provided concrete evidence, anchoring the tragic narrative in physical reality. It confirmed the general area of their final struggle and offered new avenues for research. The Inuit oral tradition, passed down through generations, had long held clues to the expedition's fate. They spoke of starving white men, dragging boats south, and of ships sinking in specific locations. Their stories proved remarkably accurate. This highlights a crucial lesson: the invaluable knowledge held by indigenous peoples, often dismissed by colonial explorers. Had their warnings and observations been heeded, perhaps the narrative wouldn't be quite so grim. So what truly happened in those final, desperate years? The ships became trapped in multi-year ice, likely for over a year and a half. Franklin died, probably from natural causes, as the note indicated. Then, the grim decision to abandon ship. The overland trek was a death march. Weakened by scurvy, lead poisoning, and malnutrition, the men slowly succumbed to the elements, one by one. Their bodies and the scattered remnants of their struggle dotting the unforgiving landscape of King William Island. The Franklin expedition remains a stark reminder of the perils of polar exploration and the hubris of man against nature. It's a story of courage, certainly, but also of miscalculation, unforeseen circumstances, and ultimately, profound tragedy. The wrecks of Erebus and Terra, now protected as National Historic Sites, continue to yield secrets. Each artifact brought to the surface, each new piece of data, adds another brushstroke to the unfinished portrait of their final, fateful journey. The Arctic held onto its secrets for over a century and a half. Even with the ships found, the full story of all 129 men, their individual struggles and last moments, may never be completely known. It remains a powerful testament to the enduring mysteries of our world. Next, we delve into another chilling maritime enigma,